Hey guys, Mike Courier here for your Bridge City Fight Shop Technique of the Week. This week we're back at the beautiful Gracie Barra Portland with Warren Brooks. He's got a really cool, kind of terrible, awful, just horrible technique to show us. It's a really cool variation on the straight ankle lock. Gives you guys a place to go when plan A doesn't go quite as planned. So here it is.
That was pretty cool. All right, guys, what we're gonna work on today is when they escape from jumping over your foot from the straight ankle, you're gonna actually go to a plan B, give you another option here. So most of the time we get in on these straight here, we have usually 1 foot under, 1 foot over, getting ready to usually dip down to try to finish off the straight. Again, this is all IBJJF legal. There's not gonna be any reaping here, so it kind of gives you a good alternative here. Most of the time, one of the options they have here is to push the foot down. Most of the time they push it down, they look to hop over this leg. As they hop here, I'm gonna roll up on this shoulder. Now, as I roll up on this shoulder here, it's very important that I base this foot to begin with to get my hip up off the ground because I wanna get really tight in on this leg. The outside foot's actually gonna come over and connect at the hip. Then from there, you're gonna use the other foot. Again, the hip is still off of the ground, and I'm gonna drive this other knee into the back of his knee, kind of at a pretty good rate here. So I'm gonna drive here, and then I do what's called a push-pull. I'm gonna push with the knee that's underneath, and I'm gonna pull the foot towards me. As I get in on my hand here, again, I wanna make a fist, pull this up, push-pull, and then start arching.
That's cool. I think that, anytime we can add these little kind of, the tricks, right? There's
Sure.
just small little things that are not changing the whole dynamic of the technique, but they're giving you a great thing to do when the plan A doesn't work.
Exactly.
Right? And I think people are so used to sitting on that foot now. The second you go to that single leg X or your ashigrami, people are stuffing those toes right away and they're sitting on it.
And the good thing about this one is everybody I know is kind of reaping, no reaping, or whatever. So a lot of us still do IBJJFs. We might do tournaments that allow reaping, but we also do a lot of tournaments that don't allow it.
Sure.
So you can still hit your leg locks, I feel like, just using a couple of variations, different foot positions to where you can get in. Now, one important thing here is you have to make sure that your hip stays off of the ground. Because when you put the hip on the ground and you try driving, you're going to lose a lot of momentum there.
Okay.
So you want to keep that up, stay on the shoulder, drive in extremely hard with the legs, that push-pull, keeping it really super tight. And then as you drive, I was kind of being nice to Chase here, driving under the knee. If you can drive it to the hamstring, it gets extremely tight there.
Okay, but you don't want it to go under the leg.
No.
No. So you're trying to keep his weight on his leg, keeping his leg on the mat. And you're driving your knee into the back of his kneecap.
Absolutely.
Hamstring,
Yeah.
right?
So when we get in here, when we get into this motion here, again, when I get here to here, he pushes this off, he pops over the top of it here. As I'm rolling up, I'm already thinking about this leg, but I have to base here to get up to kind of keep this pin. As I step over here, again, notice his leg is off the ground here.
Yeah.
So what happens lots of times when people do this is they go here and his leg slides up. So another thing you do is you have a free hand, as you come through, I can actually push this down, then drive, get in tight on it, and then start arching here. But again, that's behind the knee. If I come here and I push this down and I go to the hamstring here, it gets super tight.
Then you're putting the pressure almost on the femur. I mean, there's nowhere for that hip to go once that upper leg bone is locked out.
Right.
Right.
And it's just like, again, you're push-pulling with the legs, keeping everything super tight there, and then just getting the arch, and you usually will get the tap from there.
Yeah, I think that, not feeling it or doing it, it looks as though Chase may want to go belly down, which is not a good option ever, but where else does he go from there?
Again, he's going to have to really, I feel like, I don't think a lot of people are going to see this coming.
Right.
Because most of the time when they pop over the hip, people from the bottom, they have to kind of get into something different. So I think as soon as you can get over, his option one, he needs to hand fight as much as possible right off the bat and look to try to come up, But people get lazy in that position. They think just because I hop over the foot, I'm out of trouble, especially in IBJJF, or they don't allow reaping and things like that.
Sure.
So I really feel like if you're able to kind of go pretty quick into that, get that foot on the hip, get him stopped, and then use your hand maybe to negate a little bit, you're going to be able to finish there.
Yeah, and I think as a smaller guy, I focus so much on where my weight is and when my weight is where, right? I think that as you get up to that shoulder, that left arm is a couple things, right? If I drive my left arm over, it makes my body want to follow my arm. So my hip raise up higher, my head goes down lower, and then moving that left hand to Chase's knee allows me to put all my weight on that hand, almost put a post on that leg, and keep that leg right where it is, glued to the mat.
And two, if you are doing reaping tournaments and you do go for this and he does step over, you can actually get control of the other foot, bring the foot back in under, you can come back in and reap on the other side.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different options that you kind of have there, depending on what the rules say.
Sure. But it's one of those things that you go for this and it fails, and what have you lost? Right?
Nothing.
The guy was already out of the harm of the straight ankle lock.
Yeah.
One more thing to add into the toolbox.
Yeah.
If we can catch that guy slipping, we're right there on it.
Yep.
So, cool, guys. Quick and easy. I love it. Super effective. Try it out, and we'll see you next time for your Bridge City Fight Shop Technique of the Week.